Hi guys, in this session you are going to learn about macros in SAS, and the definition is a named sequence of statements you can call with a macro instructions. It means by using macros we can reduce the repeating text. Before explain about the macros, firstly what is the purpose of the macros in SAS? For explain that, I take example from SAS help.class. I named the dataset demo and I set SAS help.class and run. Before opening dataset, log is clear, work.demo. This is the demo dataset, and here I am creating one situation for understanding the macro in SAS. That is, here we have a different types of ages in the age variable. It means from 11 to 16. I want to separate the data set based on the age. It means total age level students in one data set. Like that, I want to separate each and every type of age in this from this data set. For that, what we write in a generally set, I named another data set SAS help data class. If age equals to 11, simply we filter the data. Just like that, age equals to 12, age equals to 13. Age equals to 14, age equals to 15, age equals to 16. Now we are running these codes. Check here. Every data set is clear, and demo 1 with the only 11, demo 2, 3, 4 with the 14, 5 with the 15, 6 with the 16 data sets. Now we can reducing the repeating text. Here the text is repeating. Okay, only condition is different, data set name is different. For that we can write the macro here. Then how we write that? First I am copying this. Okay, now here I need I separate this data set based on the age variable, and every time I need a new data set name. For that I have to pause the two parameters here. Before that we have to write a macro, and macro name, this is the user defined name. I named just a dummy. And here we have to pause the parameters. First I need a one parameter here. Why? Because every time I am running this code, I need a new dataset name. That's why I just named this dname, and same parameter here. And we have to add ampersand. Now every time I am running this code, I need a new dataset based on an age. That's why I have to pause another parameter here with the ampersand symbol at starting, and we have to mention that parameter here, and percentile m end. Like this we can convert one code into macro. Here we have two parameters. We explain further for that. We are running this code log, and when we run a macro, it just show like this as it is. If there are any errors or anything, it shows a note. Otherwise it's just a code as it is. We do macro calling. For that, first we have to mention percentile symbol with macro name. This is our macro name. This is the user defined. Now we pause the values. First dname. Dname means dataset name, and I just give a dataset name demo 11, comma, and here another parameter age n. I just need age equals to 11, and run. Okay, here you get a demo 11 data set. We are opening that. When we give demo 11 here, it will passing to here. When we give a 11, it is passing to here. It means it's just a stored value whatever we give it. Now if you want to add age 12, what we do, simply no need to write a code again. Simply copy, paste, and I named the data set 12 and at age 12. Simply run, and 12 demo 12 at age equals to 12. Now first you write normal code like this, and you can convert like this and find the data set for the 13, 14, 15, 16 like this. This is the task for yourself. Now we go with the macro. There are two types of parameters in macros. In that, first one is the positional parameters. Then what does it the positional parameters meaning here? Simply, it should follow the order. I will tell you what is an order here, and parameters also called as a variables here. And next one, syntax. What is the syntax for positional parameters? I am not explaining the syntax for the macros. I just separate that macro syntax for the positional parameters for the keyword parameters. First, we are explaining about a positional parameter syntax. That is a macro, percentile macro, and macro program name. This is the user defined. You can mention as you wish. And the next one, parameters. These are the parameters, parameter 1, parameter 2, parameter 3, just separated by the comma up to parameter n, whatever you want. And the next one, statement 1, statement 2, statement 3. Here we write some statements. It means this is the one statement, this is the second statement, like that. You can write a number of statements based on your requirement up to statement n. And the next one, end. I just give end here. I didn't mention any program name. That is the program end space dummy, also same, or just end also enough, and or just end also enough, whatever you wish. If you mention the program name or without program name, both are same. And now we are explaining one example for that macro. Macro name is a user defined. I just give a PSP, positional parameters, and a dname and agent. I just write a same code just before, data and dname, sets has help.class, if age equals to agent, and run. mn PSP, I am here to mention the macro name. This is the macro name. Okay, here every time you run the code, it will be given new age with the new data set name. And the number of the parameters is depends upon our requirement. If you give only agent, every time you run, create a new data set with the same data set name. It just replaced it. Now we are running this code. Whenever you run a macro, it's just given as it is. It means it's successfully run. Now we are doing macro calling for that. Simply PSP macro calling, PSP dummy and 12. In the positional parameter, position is different. Whatever you give in the dname, it will be taken as the first. If agent, it will be 12. First I am running this. Log is clear with the dummy has a 5 observation. That is a age 12. We give an age 12. And here what happened when we change these positions here? Just like I am just copying this. Cut here and paste and running this. When you observe, it shows an error. What is that error? In the positional parameter, we have to follow the order. It means first I am giving dname, that is a dummy, and next I am giving agent, that is a number. If you give a number here, that is a false statement. I take another macro calling PSP demo 15. I just given age equals to 15 here. Or you understand, based on your requirement, you can change the number of parameters here. And demo 4 has a 15 has a 4 observations. And next one, keyword. What is a keyword parameter? Then what is the difference between positional and keyword parameters? Okay, for that keyword parameters, here no need follow order for parameters. That is the main difference between the positional and the keyword macro parameters. And the syntax is everything is same. Macro name is a user defined, and these are the keyword parameters like this. And the next one is the statements are same, and the just end also same. End macro program name or end also, both are enough. Or you understand the syntax. I am just explaining one example for that. Example macro. I just give a KWP, keyword parameters. And the parameters are dname equals to agent equals to same. Both are same, dname, agent, and the dname is the same. Inside the code is same. Okay, just the parameters are different. Amend KWP. Amend also enough. Now macro calling for that. KWP agent equals to 13. Dname equals to 6. Just before, when we change the position of it, it shows an error. Okay, got it? It shows an error. But when we use a keyword parameter, no need of follow the order, just a given equals to 13. Here you have to mention the parameter. In the positional parameter, no need of mention the parameter here again. Just follow the order, whatever the order is in the bracket. But for the keyword, no need of following the order, but you have to mention the parameter again. Here agent equals to 13, dname equals to check. So we are running the macro and macro calling here check as a 3. And I'm just change the positions of these parameters. KWP same. And first I gave a dname and next I am agent 13. Okay, here also it is the same. It shows a nothing error for that. Why? Because keyword parameter no need to follow the order of the parameters. Got it? This is the difference between positional parameters and keyword parameters in the macro. And the next one we can use the both. We call as a combination parameters. Then no need of explain the syntax for that. Same syntax, but one change in the combination parameters, that is whenever you use the combination parameters, first we have to assign all positional parameters, then after you have to assign keyword parameters. Okay, and the same program for easy understand, and just to take the same program for everything. KMP, we are running this code. Now we do macro calling for this combination. And I just give a macro name with the CMBP combination parameters, and the calling is just 11. Why? Because the agent is 11, no need of mention the why, because it's a position. And the next one is a dname is a keyword, that's why we have to mention again dname equals to process. First we run macro, next we run macro calling here, and log is clear process. Yes, just based on age 11. And here this is a one type of macros. Now there are another type of macros, that is a local macros. Then what are the local macros here? And here local macros we can use everywhere. It means, for example, here we have a dname agent. There are inside this program only, but the local macros we can use them everywhere in the code. Then what are that? How we define that? Example 1. First we have to store the macro, that is %let is for store the macro, that is a equals to 55. This is for store a macro. Next one, to display a macro, simply put ampersand. Here %let is used to store a macro, %put is used to display a macro. Then what is the display, what is the store? First we have to run store %let, simply let a equals to 55. Next one, we have to use put for display. Then what is the display here? Okay, run. Yes, here the display. What we store in a, it is a 55. Put is used for the display, and it only display on log window. It don't have in the output, it don't have in any data set. Whenever we store a value in a macro by using let, and when we use a put for display, it only display on log window. Okay, got it? I giving another example for this. That is a character, and if you give a number in the macro, it will store as a character only. And here %let name equals to Shiva. I just give a name and a put ampersand name. Here we have a let and a put at once, but in the real time scenario, you just use a macro, then you don't know what we store in it. Got it? We just have a name for the macro. For example, here you have just a, then you don't know what we store in it. At that situation, for display we just use a put for that. First we run a let. Okay, now we have to use a put for display. Yes, Shiva. Like this, we can store and display the macro here. How we use this let in any procedure step or any dataset step. I just give an example for that. First I creating let val equals to 13. %let also equals to, just like a dname or agent here. It did the same thing, but at same time. I just store value equals to 13. Now prop print data equals to sans helper class where age equals to val. What we given in a val, that is a 13. Okay, and run. First I'm running this. Okay, and the code is just let val equals to 13. Now we are running this proc print. I just mentioned ampersand val. Already you know when we pass a parameter, we have to use the ampersand symbol with the parameter name here. And here this is our parameter val. And I am just mentioned parameter with the ampersand symbol. Now I am running this. Just give an output log. Okay, proc print is running successful and it gives an output. Like this we can use the local macros, and you can use this val macro at anywhere in any other code also. Now another example, just a character, and when we use a character, it's better to use the with code while creating. Data s set as help dot class, and if sex equals to ampersand val, and run. Here we are using in a proc print. Here I am using in a data set. Now I am running this let, and I am running this data s. Okay, log is clear. Data s. Here with the sex equals to n. Got it? Like this we can use the macros in a data set and in the procedure step. And when we use a %let, we can store only one macro at a time. Got it? No need of writing macro name or everything. You just give a %let equals to parameter equals to, you just pass a single value for that. And when we use when we create a macro like this, you can pass the number of different types of statement in the parameters. But when we creating like this, you just store a one value in a parameter, and you can pass directly in the dataset or parameter like this. And we can do some arithmetic operations in that. What are those? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, anything. I am creating here. First one, in that arithmetic result, if you want to only integers, then we can use a val. First we have to do some arithmetic operations. %let a equals to 1 plus 2. In the a I am storing 1 plus 2. Then let a1 equals to, this is a new variable, that is a user defined, %eval and %a, and put is used for display. Okay, first we are running this. Let a equals to 1 plus 2 log, just when we run a macro, just given as it is, and %let a1 equals to eval. I'm just running this. Okay, let eval. Now I want to display what we store in a1. Okay, generally what we do put, it just a display whatever we store in it. Okay, now I'm just giving put a1. Answer is 3. 1 plus 2 equals to 3. Like this we can do some arithmetic operations also. And here what is the purpose of eval only for integers? I do some division for that. Equals to 5 by 3. %let eval1 is a new variable here, and %eval and %c. Got it? I'm just running this and this one also. And next one we have to display whatever store in eval. Put eval1. Now 1. But what is an actual value for 5 by 3 is the 1.666 or something. But when we use a eval in it, it just give an integers. Then what we do for decimals also? Then we have to use the sysevalf. Got it? Eval is for only integers. It can give only integers. And when we give some point multiplication or anything. But in the result, if we have a decimals, it ignores by the eval. And the sysevalf, then what it did, just take a directly division for that. Let eval1 sysevalf of c. Now we are running this. First we store the macro, then further we do some arithmetic operation like a division. And here we are using the sysevalf and put eval1. Got it? Now we are running this. Okay. And in the log, yes, when we use first same c equals to 5 by 3, if we use the eval, it only give a 1 result. But when we use the sysevalf, it will give a decimals of 1.6. Like this, you can display only integers while calculations. And if you want a decimal with decimal, you can use the sysevalf. And we can use some numerical functions in how it is. I just created one macro. And the macro name is the figure it, and the parameters are a comma b, and these are the positional parameters. I didn't give any equal here. Okay, and the next one, %put, the boolean value is sysevalf. I need decimals also, and a plus b are the parameter here, and a boolean is a function. Just like that, CCFLF, seal, floor, and integer, and mn. Already you know the boolean, seal, floor, the numerical functions here. Now we are running these all at once, and simply, and we have to pause the macro calling for it. Figure it is a macro name already mentioned here, and here we are not mentioned the macro name at the end. Figure it, and a is an 100, b is a 15.256. Now we are running this in the log. Here the boolean value is for 1, okay, and seal value, already you know what is the seal, what is the floor, lowest and highest, and integer, only integer value here. And like this, we can apply some numerical functions in a macro by using the put and macro here. Then how we apply a macro in a procedure? Okay, here we are just applying a macro in a data set. Just like this way, we can apply this creating a macro in the procedure also. It's a very similar for it. Okay, apply macro for the procedures. Macro, and I just give a name stats, and these are the parameter. Number of parameters are 4, that is a d set, that is the data set name, variable 2, variable 3, and a means 3. Okay, and a prop means data equals to d set, and a var1, var2, and a var3, and out equals to means 3. Already you know how we apply the means here, no need to explain here. And n equals to some main, some median, out name, and a run and amend. Okay, before running in it, now we are running this log is clear with the just as it is. Now we do macro calling for this stats, dset, age, height, and a means. Here the means, just out is a means 3, just a name, and height is a variable, here height, and age is a variable, here var, and a dset is a dset name as it is, as you got it here. And simply whenever you pause the value in the parameter, you just replace here and runs as it is. Macro is applicable like this, just like means is applicable here with the minimum maximum. Already you know the output for the means here. Like this, we can apply the macros in the procedures also. And the next one, creating a macro variable in a SQL. Then how we create a macro variable? Okay, in a proc SQL, no print, select, already you know the select, and a name. Okay, now into class. Into class is used for creating a macro in the SQL. Okay, and a name 1 to name 4. Already you know in a sans help class we have a name variable, in that we have an observations, and for that I just taken 1 to 4 here. Okay, I'm explaining with the data set demo. Okay, just like this, here we have a name variable, and for example if you have a 4 observations here, I just give a name 1 to name 4. It takes the 4 observations like that from sans help class. And a quit, you know, in a practice we use a quit. Okay, here log is clear, and here I am creating a macro in a proc SQL, and it means it's just creating a macro just like this. Got it? Now we have to further display just using a put whatever we store in a name 1, name 2, name 3, and name 4, and we are running this and it display in the log, that is Alfred, Alice, Barbara, Carlo. These are the names in the name variable. Got it? Like this, we can create a macro in a proc SQL also by using into class. And then how we create a macro in a data set? For that we have 2 options. First one is a calls input. Calls input is for storing character variables into macro variables, and a calls input x is used for storing numeric variables into macro variables, are nothing but parameters here. Okay, for that I am writing a code, data demo set sans help.class, and a call input is used for creating character variables into macro variables, and this is a macro name, whatever we given in the code, that is a macro name, and this is a variable. Okay, and in the sex I am just giving ABC, this is the macro name, and I am creating on sex variable by using calls input. Already you know this is the character variable, And the next one, call syntax for the numeric vars into macro variables. And just given a name, that is an xyz for the numeric, and age is a numeric variable, already you know that. And where name am equals to Thomas. Only on a Thomas name, yeah, random age and random sex, right? For that we are creating a macro and run. We are running this code. Okay, log is clear. We are just opening demo. Okay, and in the sex, that is the name, in the age, that is the level. We have to display for that both just as given same or not. To display macro, already you know, put ampersand APC, put XYZ. First we are running this, put APC. In the APC we are giving character, sex, then what it store. We are running this. In the XYZ, yes, we are running this. Just 11. We are just cross check with the demo. Yes, in age we are 11. Like this, we can create a macro variable in a dataset by using calls input and calls input. Already I am telling you, macro is just used to store a value and a pause by the parameter in a dataset. Just like this. Here we creating a one parameter. Here we are pausing that. It means you store that value and pausing here. You store that value and pausing here. Okay, macro is applicable like that. There is another option is a macro check. Then what is a macro check? And in this, what is a macro check here? In this, it analyzes parameter to assign which values. Okay, in that first one, options, symbol gen, mlogic, and mprint, and each option have each purpose. And for that, I am just writing some simple macro here. Percentage macro, save. These are some random parameters, and I am applying on a proc means var1 output and run. Amen. With we have to run with this error. Now we are calling in it sales. Yes, output here, and in the log check here. First one mlogic. Mlogic gives what is the parameters, the flow. That is the first beginning execution. Parameter dset as SAS alpha class and var1 as an age, means as a means. And the symbol gen gives what it resolves to that parameters. Macro variable dset resolves to SASL, and a proc means dataset, and a macro variable var1 resolves to age. And like this, the symbol gen gives the what parameter assigned to init. Okay, like this we can check a macro check. There is a brief explanation for that. We explain in another classes about a macro check. Next one, and if you want to know the each and every user defined macros and global macros or system defined macros, then how we check that? For that, percent put underscore user underscore, it is used for display all user defined macros. I am just running this. Okay, in the log you can check these are all the user defined. It means I am defined these macros in this. And the next one is a global macros are system defined. You can use that directly in this. Then for that, put underscore or underscore, and these are all the system defined. These are all system defined. You can use the wherever you want. And next one, calling macros from the outside environment. It means macro is at outside environment and we are calling from SAS. For that, first we have to create one macro here, and I've just given already assigned macro. This is our assigned macro here. Okay, Control C. I'm just pasting here. Okay, and I'm just changed the name like checking here, no need. And we have to save this code at the outside environment. Got it? I am just saving this in the desktop, naming with the testing. Okay, and saving this, and I'm closing this. Okay, we are in this window now, and now first we have to check here. Yes, this is the testing. Now we are calling this macro from the inside of SAS. For that, what we do, include, and in the inverted commas we have to use that path. Then how we get a path? Already you know, for getting path, just to select, right click, and the properties, copy the location and close it, go to the SAS and we just paste it here. And the next one, what is that file name is a testing.sas. okay, now we are running this a percentile include here, and log is clear. Now we are doing macro calling for that. Then how we do? Simply checking is the macro name. Agent equals to, I just give a 16 and a D name equals to DD. Now we are running this code. Yes, log 19. DD has a 1 observation and a 5 variables. Now we are go with the DD. Yes. Are you got it? What happened here? Please subscribe my channel, click the bell icon, like the video and comment below, share with your friends. Thank you. Support me.